This is so humiliating. This is so humiliating. So let me recap what I just said. First, we get Ronald Koeman kicking us out of La Liga. Then we get my computer kind of just freakingly break down. I have to change everything into this new laptop that I have. Well, it's not a new laptop. It's just I have never used it for YouTube before. So it's kind of like my work laptop. So
This is so...
And then this happens. And then this happens. And then my other laptop is unmuted. Oh my god, this is so unprofessional from me, guys. This is sorry. It's fixed. It's fixed. Okay, guys, it's fixed. I love how live streams are like delayed, because it's so funny to see how people go crazy when it's like, oh my god, you're on mute, you know, and it's like chill down, guys. Chill down. I know. But yeah, guys, how are you doing? How are you freaking doing? This is so annoying. This is not the way that I wanted my Tuesday to end. I have so many plans after this now, and I'm gonna be just completely in a disarray of emotion, because yeah, it's awful, dude. It's awful. It really is. We start off this game against Levante fruitfully. You know what? We started scoring 2 goals right from the break. We saw some very good interplay from Barcelona. I was very surprised. I even tweeted that I didn't know if it was actually the fault that Levante were not awake, or it was actually the case of Barcelona that were playing good football. And it, of course, meant that Levante were not awake, because as we saw from the full 90 minutes, Barcelona were not at the proper level that they needed to be to compete. And they flopped every single way down into this game. And this is what happened. This is what you get. If you do not control a game, if you do not impose your style of play, you're going to get conceding chances. And those conceding chances are eventually going to lead to you losing this game or drawing in this scenario. And we saw 12 shots, if I'm not wrong. Let me just open up here quickly. Levante versus Barcelona. It doesn't show up for whatever reason. Thanks, Google. Google is even against Barcelona right now. This is great. This is absolute great. I'm going to have to do the old thing and open who scored Levante versus Barcelona. Let's go ahead and do that. Here, G2 Nico Highlight says Koeman should be sacked. This is an absolute disgrace. I agree with you, Nico. I agree with you. Is the camera still lagging or no? Because here in the live stream it shows it's lagging a little bit, but it's still not working as fine. Gracias, Pepita, con el sol. Tío, ese sol deberías usarlo para tu libro, man. Porque este paso, todos sabemos que tener como que 2 soles de reembolso. Okay, what else? Felix Amon says, Buga, get on with your plans after this. We all should have built, what? We should all have built some immunity for this bunch of bottlers. Absolute cowards being fed by a clueless coach. I mean, you speak the truth, actually. You speak the truth. It really kind of is the truth when we have... The thing with Ronald Koeman here, okay? Okay, I'm going to explain it right now. Koeman has done a good job so far. He has done a good job with Barcelona, being able to rebuild a team that has had the foundations to bring in a new breed of players. He has done that. He has improved us. But to the sense that he's going to be the manager to take us to glory, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be the man to actually deliver us to this La Liga, to a Champions League, to get us playing just incredible football. He ain't going to be that person. He ain't going to be the guy to primarily, how can I say it? This one, Koeman is just too clueless. He's just too clueless. The game management that we saw today from Koeman is one that was resonated heavily with Valverde. Quique Setién did a better job in game management, in my opinion, but Valverde did one thing that was disastrous, and for me just completely wrote him off from being ever a Barcelona manager or a manager at a top level. And that is the fact that Valverde almost would select the wrong lineups from the get-go. Koeman at least selects the right lineups, but most of the time his substitutions hindered the team performances throughout the full 90 minutes and do not let them constitute a good amount of play for the rest of the 90. And Valverde at least tried to fix that with his substitutions. Mostly failed, but at least he tried. But with Koeman, he just didn't know. He's just clueless. And that is one thing that we've seen kind of reiterate throughout the last few games of La Liga. We could see Koeman, for instance, introducing today Sergi Roberto as one part of the back three, which, yeah, you would have expected a little bit more, right, from a player that is supposed to be the versatile, supposed to be kind of like llave inglesa, the Swiss Army knife of the team, to be able to mold into different positions. But it was just wrong. At least you're going to change the formation, because we brought in Roberto as a third center back and we didn't change anything. We didn't change the formation. We didn't change the system. And that is a wrong thing that Koeman did here. How are you going to bring in a right back when you have a perfectly good back four that you could employ and not switch to a back four? Leave it as a back three. We continue to play with Ousmane Dembele and Jordi Alba as the two wing backs in today's game. And that is humiliating in a sense. Because one, like I said, you have a perfectly good back four, and the other one is that you have a toilet in the kitchen. Who in the world has a toilet in their kitchen? I'm not sure. I'm not sure who has that. It might work some few instances, but when you're cooking, it's going to smell pretty bad, and that's not ideal for anyone, for the person doing the pooping in the toilet or the person cooking. You have to put a proper player in his position. And Ousmane Dembele has worked before as a wingback and can work in situations where Barcelona has to go out there and kind of, can go out there and control the game, and then we need this overlapping. And we have a player in Dembele that can be fast, that can be overlapping once again through the right-hand side, open it up. But this is not really the case here. It's not the case where we can have a player in Dembele acting the full length of the pitch against a team like Levante that we know is going to pressure us. I'm going to take the chance to take a look at this video. Is it stopping every once in a while? Dude, I have absolutely no idea. I have tested this camera a lot, and that could be it. It could be the internet, which I've also tried to fix before. And it should be working. According to this live stream, it's the drop frames over the last 2 minutes, which I have absolutely no idea what that means. I know it's dropping frames like a video game, but I don't know what I can do in that situation. Your stream experiencing experience issues. I get that. CPU, okay. Frames per second. The drop frames is worrying. Click to add into your folder. When streaming with the issue of your stream, drop frame, black frame, we send to you on here. I'm gonna be trying to fix this. Give me just 1 second. A few months ago, you were supporting Koeman. I still support Koeman. I think he has done a good job. That's the thing. I think he's done a good job, but I've always said that he won't be the guy to take us to glory. That's one thing that you could see that I've been doing all the time, and I've said that. It's over, says Jeff Palacios. Koeman out, says a lot of you guys. Palash Agrawal says, just happy to see Puch his regular 7 minutes today. It's like already a regularity, right? It's constant. Leon Forrest says, there's Buga. It's not just Koeman. Where are you? It's not just Koeman, it's some of the defenders. Example, Piqué, Roberto, Lenglet, and Koeman refusing to rest Pedri for Puch. I do get all of those things. And like I already said before, some of the players do deserve the blame. Some of the players, like Piqué, for instance, today was awful. The level of Lenglet has been trash. He really has not been able to play at a certain level that we are expecting of him. And that is humiliating. That really, really is. So I do not really get why Koeman sticks to these names. And that is a very big problem. Because in Koeman, you have a manager who has to be selecting the best possible players for your system, right? And if this system needs different players, well, don't even play those players. I do not get that. Why don't play Araujo, Piqué, and Mingueza? Or maybe try Araujo in the position of Piqué and then play Mingueza there. You could potentially get even more of a solid defense. But I guess Koeman doesn't even want to treat that, doesn't even want to do that. Buga dropping frames better than Koeman dropping points. Oof, that's a rough one to take, dude. That's a rough one to take. But yeah, I do not get why I dropped so many frames here. I have absolutely no idea. The internet is fine. That's one thing. My computer is fine. Like my computer should be handled this. My computer handles like PUBG, which is a broken game. My computer handles Battlefield 1, handles all of the different games of the last gen. Handles Cyberpunk for fuck's sake, and that game is broken, so it should work. The lag is mad. I know, dude. I know. It seems like it's the internet, according to this. It seems like it's the internet. Let me do a speed test. Video, that's okay. Advance. No, it's me that I'm lagging. It's not you. It's not you that you're lagging. It's me. The problem is that when you stream, you cannot change the settings until you like end the live stream. So what I could do after this one, guys, I could do a test live stream in private with some of you guys. We can do a test live stream and I can test the settings out. Maybe that is something I can do. Maybe. But the internet is fine. Like I say, the internet is fine because I can do anything. It's just the freaking, I don't know what it is, dude. I dropped frame. I think it's the camera. I changed the camera. I changed the computer. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to fix it, guys. Bear with me for today. I'm going to be doing, like I said already, a test live stream after this. So if you want to help me fix this, we can do that. Where are you streaming from? From my house. From my house. But Peruvian internet sucks, right? Okay, pick out. C guy says, I'm going to predict the Liga title. I think Atletico Madrid is going to win it. As we know, Barca bottled it, bottling up chances. Real Madrid is having a tough games. I'm sure they're going to drop points. I also predicted that Atletico Madrid were going to win it. But I predicted that Atletico Madrid were going to win it with 86 points. Barcelona were going to be with 85. No, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid were both on 86 points, but Atletico Madrid won because they had the kind of head-to-head record. And then Real Madrid would finish third. I do not think that is longer going to be the case. I think Barcelona are probably going to finish third, and I think that Real Madrid will finish second, Atletico Madrid will finish first. I do see Atletico Madrid winning it easily now, because after this one, I think they're going to be kind of thinking, okay, guys, we kind of escaped a lot of problems, so we just kind of have to push for the title now. Leon Forrester's Buga, Koeman could even use a backline of De Jong, Oscar Minguez, and Araujo. We conceded less goals, and now since Piqué is back, we have been leaking goals like a leaky pipe. That is true, honestly. That is very true now that you say that. Piqué, this is the thing. De Jong as a libero was working, and I don't know what was the idea to change it. I don't know why was there any rush to change it? Because the best games under Koeman so far, in my opinion, was that game against PSG. I haven't seen Barcelona play that fluid football and looking kind of actually like they were going to win in a proper fashion. There could have been so many goals in that game, and De Jong was playing as a libero there. So it could have been a possibility to continue playing that formation, keep De Jong in there, and then add an extra midfielder in the midfield, an extra player there, and then perhaps push Griezmann a little bit deeper in behind the strikers that could be Messi and Dembele. So indeed, this could have been different options, but Koeman just doesn't seem to even want to try them out. Audio not lagging, just go on. I know the audio doesn't lag. It's the camera. I'm 100% sure it's the freaking camera. I'm going to test the camera, like I said, in a test live stream afterwards. So, yeah. Felix Amos says the true extent of the sheer amount of work Barca has to do as an elite club going forward will be laid bare for all to see the day Messi leaves. We are so over dependent on him, and that's the reality of it. That is truth. You speak truth right there, because right now this team is not set out to be able to complete a transition past Lionel Messi. It's not set out to do something like that. There is not the resources to do that because Bartomeu has just completely run us to the ground. And then the players are, well, we got good players, good youngsters. But look, even one of our best players now, Ansu Fati, is injured and has been injured for the entirety of the season. Our signings are utter trash. And we have people like Coutinho and Antoine Griezmann that don't seem to be able to kind of get a good run of form together for an entirety of the season. M. Ibatenes Islam says, I really do love Marc-Andre ter Stegen, and the hate he gets is just so sad to hear. If it wasn't even long ago, we were praising him along with... What? With Neasheret in that group stage game. Oh, yeah. I remember that kid from Dynamo Kiev, right? He was... but yeah, I mean, ter Stegen hasn't had the best of seasons this year. That is the reality of it. And he has... previously in different seasons where we've been able to say that ter Stegen is kind of saving us, this hasn't really been the case this year. Ter Stegen hasn't really been up to scratch when it comes to these sort of big games. But most of all, I think it's also on top because of our defense. Our defense is not that good either. Our defense hasn't been allowing for this goalkeeper to show his skills right now. Because if you have a good goalkeeper and then you have a leaky defense, that goalkeeper is going to kind of show up, like I said. But our defense is just awful. It just puts us in so different dumb situations that ain't really positive, if we're being honest. It ain't really positive. MNX Jr. says the young shooting is embarrassing. The chance he gets outside the box should have been a goal. Yeah, the Young's, or do you mean the Young or Pedri's? Because I believe that the Young's finishing is not the best. Pedri's finishing is clearly not the best. Opportunity in this game and the one against Valencia, surprisingly, how is the last two Valencia games? In Valencia games, well, because Levante is also a team from Valencia, if you didn't know, fun fact. And yeah, Pedri hasn't been really putting in these chances in the back of the net that almost all the time would have been a clear candidate to win it. It really is the reality. Bugas Bucksland, what do you say? Check Matt's Twitter. Do you want me to check Marc-Andre ter Stegen's Twitter? Let me check it out for you guys. Boop, boop. My Twitter. Okay, where you want to check Marc-Andre ter Stegen's Twitter? That's what you wanted. Marc-Andre ter Stegen. We got a donation from MC Chino. Bro, you can't keep defending Koeman. He has to go. He has to go. He has to go. That's the reality of it. That's the reality. Ter Stegen said he hasn't said anything. His last tweet is "It's not over yet," and that's 2 days ago. So, am I not seeing right, or what is it? Because La Liga is almost sentenciada, in my opinion, which means in English that La Liga is over. The trial has been given, and this is a reality. Barcelona are not in any position to compete for La Liga now. Klasim says, people praising Koeman for using youngsters, but he was forced to do it because of injuries. I'm not sure he would have done it without injuries. The proof Roberto and Piqué come back, he starts using them again. You're true on that one, honestly. Who are you? Klasim, you're completely right on that one. You are 100% right on that one, because Koeman he came in with this mentality that he was going to be using all these youngsters. He was going to be using all these young players. He was going to be able to, he said in that interview, right? If I have a player from 13 years of age and a player from 18 years of age and they can do the same job and they do it at the same quality, I'm always going to be picking the youngster. And he hasn't really been doing that, because I think it's easier to say when you're not in a job and your head is not on the line. And it has really been showing clearly that when the last kind of, not this game against Levante, but the games before against, let's say, which games was it Valencia and Granada that Roberto played? And yeah, he played Roberto instead of Dest, which Dest apparently seemed had a sort of injury or whatnot, but still, if you had the possibility to play the U.S. national team player, you would have played him and not Roberto. And also, he continues to play Piqué when we could have played Araujo and Mingueza and Lenglet. He always wants this sort of experienced player when, in reality, these experienced players are not nearly as good, because we're talking about players that have been here since the last time we won the Champions League. There is not a single team that has anything like that. You compare Barcelona from then to Barcelona from now, 2015, how many teams have the same core of players? Real Madrid, maybe just Real Madrid, but you see which problems do they have. Manchester City are not nearly as close. Juventus are completely different. Bayern Munich are completely different. PSG are completely different. Liverpool are completely different. Manchester United are completely different. Arsenal are completely different. Tottenham are completely different. Every single team is completely different, because 5-6 years is a hell of a long time. And Barcelona ain't no changing anything on that. They ain't changing Busquets. They ain't changing Piqué. They ain't changing the core players that they have. And that's a problem. You need to be able to build new spines, build new systems, build new teams that are able to work on their own and stand as a collective. And that is the problem with Barcelona. That has always been the problem with Barcelona. And it's not different. It's not different. Koeman came up with this mentality that he was going to be doing something akin to the past, but he's not doing that. He's not doing that. He is not doing that. And that's reality. You need to change. You need to change. Buga, with 2 matches left, says Joe Pierre, Messi still hasn't renewed. What is going to happen now? I think that Messi will realize probably that this La Liga is over. I think that players now in the team will realize that La Liga is completely done and dusted. Messi will probably be thinking about what options that he has on the table, and I think that his best option still remains to stay at Barcelona, and depends on what the project will be next season. Laporta will have to act and come to a conclusion on what to do with Ronald Koeman, and that decision will have to be communicated to the captain, which is Lionel Messi. So if that happens, well, I think Messi will have to make up his mind, but I think still that Messi will stay. I do not see a world in which Messi leave. I think that if there was one time that Messi would have left, it would have been last season, but he won't. I don't think he won't leave now. Sebo Chocoe says, Koeman's spot on the floor, core times beating the big teams. I have absolutely no idea what that means. Felix Amoa says, the moment your coach decides to play Dembele as a wingback against a team like Levante, then you know Valverde isn't the worst you've ever had. Shaking my head. Look, I don't think Valverde wasn't the most terrible manager ever. He just didn't click with Barcelona and what he wanted to do. It's like Barcelona appointing Marcelino now, which is completely different. And he's going to give you a different tactics, different formations. He's going to employ the team in a different way. And Valverde, with all due respect, he actually did. Valverde was capable of doing a solid team, of putting a solid team out there and being able to kind of don't come short of the deficiencies that players like Messi and Luis Suarez had. So that is something that must be praised, but it's just horrible, dude. Adam Asnari says Roberto should go. He alongside Alba was the worst mentality and the belief in this team. Roberto is a player that was quickly taken into the same kind of level and picture as Busquets, Piqué as these legendary footballers for Barcelona, and he ain't even close. Roberto is a player that, yes, he's a good player. He's a good squad player. but he ain't gonna be a starter all the time, and he's not of the quality to do that. He is not the player that you want to have at right back if you are supposed to compete for trebles every single season and be competitive. Sergi Roberto was most of the time kind of put together in the same sort of bracket as these players that I just mentioned, kind of like the Iniestas, Busquets, and Piqués, and he kind of earned himself that position just because simply being from La Masia. And the reality is kind of like a fraud. He's a fraud. Dunder Flanders says Barca could finish fourth. Yeah, Barca could finish fourth because Sevilla could potentially win their next game, go over us, and yeah, we could finish fourth. That's the reality. Dennis Rice says this was the final game. We lost La Liga several games ago. Koeman never believed in the youth, and we can all see it with Puig. He first favored Frankie de Jong, Frankie over Puig, Alenya, and other La Masia graduates. Look, Frankie de Jong is a different completely matter. I think it was okay to kind of favor Frankie de Jong because even I would, everyone would. But it still is not a good argument for that. And tomorrow we'll be uploading a video on that. Tomorrow we'll be uploading a video on Pedri and Riqui Puig because I just think that Koeman has completely killed both two players. And the narrative is going to be changing a lot since today. It really is going to be changing a lot. And we just have to see how we go onwards from there. Buga, we are creating false hope, says Vivian. We thought Barca improved because the new 3-5-2 formation, but all this was cover our flaws for the time being. This is evident with all of the big games we've lost. The 3-5-2 is interesting because I do agree with what you are saying right now, that it covered our flaws, and that is the reality of it as well. I agree with it. But if we're thinking about the future and how you kind of want to contest a tournament, a competition, I would have done the same. So it's not a huge problem having changed to the 3-5-2, but the problem is not being able to compete even with that change of formation. So if that isn't working, then you have to sort of react in any way. And you have to have the players, you have to have the tools to be able to exercise that formation. And Koeman didn't have them. So why continue with it? The formation worked with someone like Dembele up top. It worked with Messi and Griezmann as well. And I think it worked the best with both of them, all of those three players in the team, because the creativity flow. What's the past tense of flow? It flowed through all of those players, and it doesn't now. So there's a problem right there because Koeman hasn't made it easy for himself. That is the main thing with Koeman. Koeman hasn't made it easy for himself because he has not been capable of taking that agenda that so many of you are talking about. And I do agree with that. Perhaps he was harsh on Riqui Puig, and the problem is not that Pedri played every game, but the problem is that he is playing every game, and he's being selected when you could have had other midfielders with a different profile, where you could have put in Moriba for a more physical game, where you needed someone like Riqui Puig to open up the midfield and the center areas of your team. I take a look at the game against Atletico Madrid where we should have potentially won. The game against Granada, and we have two teams that were sitting very tight. We're packing the midfield, and we're not allowing Barcelona to play centrally. That's where Riqui Puig should have come in. That's where Riqui Puig should have been able to help us. And he hasn't, because Koeman was not capable of taking away that whatever happened with Riqui Puig at the start of the season. And as a manager, you need to be able to see past that and look for the best of your team. I thought that he was looking for the best of the team, and yeah, I do think that he was doing that in the long run, but eventually there are some decisions that I do not understand, like many of you guys, that perhaps could have been seen this earlier. So yeah. Dave B says, unpopular opinion, Valverde was a great manager, and if he unfortunately had a better players, he would have won a trophy with Barcelona. I think that is truth. I think that is the truth, if we're being honest, because he was a man manager. Everyone in the dressing room liked Valverde. Every single person liked Valverde in the dressing room. That if you watch documentaries, interviews, they're all going to tell you that. You watch the Matchday documentary, and Valverde was loved by the players, but at the end of the day, like I say, there were some things that just didn't stick with that. MC Gino says, why is your stream so laggy? I think it's the camera, because the audio is fine, right? You say that the audio is working fine. I need to work on those settings and try to fix it. I'm going to be looking into that as well. But yeah, I just need to see how I can fix that. I'm going to be trying to fix it in a little bit. How long have we been streaming for? 30 minutes. So maybe a little bit more, 10 more minutes we can do this stream, and then I'll be trying to fix this. Yo Pierre says, Buga, this week's will be Laporta's first test as the president. Is he truly the leader we think, or he must take action immediately and not delay firing Koeman until the next mid-season like Bartomeu? Yes, it's going to be interesting to see what decision does he take, because of course, I do not think it's easy. I do not think he's going to take that decision either until the end of the season. And potentially many things are going to be changing, because if you're going to be taking out Koeman, for instance, and you're not going to be continuing with him, then what happens with players like Memphis Depay who are potentially agreeing a contract already? Do you kind of rescind that contract, or you go with it anyways? So there's a lot of different questions that he must answer. And like you say, this week will be very important to see what the reports say. So let's wait and see how we continue like this. And yeah. Pedri, not De Jong. Laporta will sack him. Koeman knows it. Cam Offline says, I can respect Pedro a lot because he had glory at Barca and the confidence to move to other clubs. He even won the Premier League with Chelsea. Sergio Roberto should move on and expand his career. Yeah, I do see that Sergio Roberto is kind of like in that mold, and you're not wrong with that. Roberto kind of should have decided to move on where he knew that he could have was serving kind of space of surplus, and he wasn't going to be needed anymore. And somebody should have told him that. But I think that in Barcelona and the way that we're playing now, and the way that he just got extended and his contract just grew and grew and grew, and he earns 10 million euros a year, which is ridiculous. He earns more than Kimmich, Van Dijk. It's just ridiculous. Those things should have certainly has impacted his continuity at the club, and in other words, he has kind of been kept forcefully, and that should have really been the case, dude. That really should have been the case. Some people say flew. Dude, I want to fix this live stream so bad. It's itching me as to why it's so fucking bad. I want to know why is it so bad. Like every 2 minutes it lags. It says drop frames 65% over the last 2 minutes, which is horrible. After this, guys, I'm gonna do a quick live stream to that. So if some of you can tune in and help me see how it goes, that will be very much appreciated with you guys. And we're trying to fix it. I think it's a camera, maybe the cable. I have no idea. I have to fix this. So yeah. Let's say Daniel Naldo says, let's say Xavi comes in. What's your thoughts on the squad? You think we'll still play these problematic players? I don't know. I think that Xavi will have the balls and the courage to change things up and spice the team up. And hopefully that is something that will potentially happen. I would like to see that. I do not think that Xavi will come until potentially past 2022. So Laporta could stay with Koeman even one more season. I could see that happening. I could see Koeman staying for one more year. And that happens for one more year, and then Xavi comes in 2022 after the World Cup. I think that's what would happen most likely. That is my take on it. At the start of the season, Piqué and Roberto were fit Barca straight to the